Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over a story about this guy. He's asking, should he give his ex-girlfriend a second chance now that she's come back begging and pleading forgiveness and a second chance after she cheated on him, had an affair with one of her customers, and then just up and left him, left all her stuff at the apartment, and left him high and dry to pay for her share of the rent and all the other expenses and so forth. And then after 7 months, she's gone, shows up one day and is begging forgiveness and all that. And so I'm doing this article, guys, because for those of you that do relationships, some of you may find yourselves in a situation like this. Now, I'm hoping by watching my channel, watching my videos, learning what you can, not just from me, but from other guys like me, that you don't find yourself in a situation like this. But in case you do, as I go through this story, you will then keep this in the back of your mind in case you ever find yourself in this situation, or you might see some red flags along the way so you don't get in this situation, and how best to handle it. Because I'm telling you guys, this is a classic situation, and for you guys that may have been in something like this where your lady cheated on you, well, I'm not going to call her a lady, but your woman cheated on you, left, and then later on, just when you got over her, she comes back begging for a second chance. You know the type of crap they pull. And I don't want you guys that haven't been through this to go through this. So I'm going to share this story and share my opinions along the way. So the title of his story is, My Ex-Girlfriend, 31, Cheated on Me, 27, with one of her customers. Now, 7 months later, she's asking me to take her back. Uncharacteristically, for her, she's begging and crying and showing tons of remorse. Should I consider giving her a chance? Starts off saying, I dated my ex-girlfriend for nearly 2 years. I thought we had a good relationship and that we were progressing as a couple. She always told me she loved me, and I loved her too, of course. I pretty much thought we were gradually working our way toward getting married. We adopted a puppy together. These young guys always focus on, they always say, oh, well, I think we're going to get married, blah, 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 blah. This is how so many people are conditioned by society and religion that, well, I got to get married. What else are we going to do? No, you don't. Live in the now. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun. Marriage will fuck everything up. My career as a personal trainer and fitness coach, and she is the assistant manager of a Pete's coffee shop. We had a one-bedroom apartment together in a nice part of the city. So far, so good. Eventually, in a discussion that shocked me, my ex-girlfriend told me that she was in love with someone else and would be moving out. Apparently, one of the regulars at her coffee shop is a somewhat well-known but still C-list actor, and she had been seeing him behind my back. I was totally blindsided by this. I thought it was totally unfair of her to throw our 2-year relationship away like that. However, I'm not a violent guy or one to show much emotion, so I accepted her decision. Guys, even though this guy is he said that she was she's all in love with this guy that she had met from work as C-list actor. Guys, at the end of the day, when it comes to women, status is everything, okay? You know, in real estate, they always say it's location, location, location. When it comes to women, it's status, status, status. I can't stress that enough. Look, think back in high school, right? Girls are always attracted to and love to get a chance with the guys that were the football players, the soccer players, the basketball players, you name it. And if the girl was, maybe a freshman or a sophomore, and that sports player was a senior, that was even a bigger deal. Status, guys. Status always wins the day. It's crazy, but it's the truth. He says here, I was somewhat insulted, but didn't say anything over the fact that she chose to tell me this news in a crowded restaurant, as if I would become violent in private. That pisses me off. I had a girlfriend, one of my first serious girlfriends when I was the first year of college. Whenever she wanted to talk to me about something, some issue, she'd always wait that we went out to eat to some nice place. And just when the food's about to come out, when I'm obviously not going to get up and leave, that's when she would talk about whatever issue was bothering her or some bullshit like that. So obviously I'd stay because I wanted my goddamn food. But that really pissed me off. And I got blindsided twice by her. And after the second time, I said, don't ever do that again. I'm not kidding. I will walk out and that's it. We're done. I'm sick of this bullshit. You have the conversation with me in private. Don't ruin a fun night and use the opportunity that I can't leave. Not cool. And you guys been in that situation, you know what I'm talking about. To this day, 20-some years later, still pisses me off. It goes on. I drew the line at her entitled suggestion that I box up all her stuff and send it, apparently at my own expense, to what was supposed to be her new address. So she's having an affair, she dumps the guy, moves out, all that shit, and then she says, oh, by the way, could you please pack up all my stuff and pay to ship it to my new place? I don't think so, sweetheart. She can come here and pick it up herself. He had to throw that shit off the balcony. She didn't even mention the dog we have together. All I did was tell her that I would take all of her things out of the closet and all of her other stuff, which wasn't that much, and put them in a big pile near the door. I told her that unless she intended to keep paying rent, that she would have to surrender her key on the first of the month. She was still on the lease of our apartment and would be for another 4 months, but that didn't matter to her. Women don't care about money. I mean, they care about money that they can have resources and use it at their disposal, but women have no problem spending money or spending other people's money to do what they want to do, or if their emotions take them in a certain direction. Here, she didn't care about, the 4 months. She didn't care about it because he's spending the money, so why should she care? She never did come back for her things, nor did she return the key. Therefore, the landlord changed the locks at my expense, $200. Because technically I was reneging on the terms of our lease. Pretty much my ex-girlfriend didn't have many things anyway and just used my stuff, and although it was a struggle financially, I chose to stay in the apartment alone and just pay for it all without her input. Her whole contribution was half of the rent. I pretty much paid for everything except for groceries, such as groceries, internet, us dining out, etc. Guys, I did a video about 3 or 4 months ago basically said the top 5 reasons not to move in with your girlfriend. And I list all these reasons. And if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it now, because that way then, if you ever think it's a good idea to move with your girlfriend, listen to what I have to say. Because believe me, one of them is that if you're living with your girlfriend, and for whatever reason she decides to end it and move out, and you're in charge, you're responsible for the bills. You're responsible for the rent. You're responsible for all the other expenses. And if you don't pay them, it's going to screw up your credit report. Because like I said, guys, a lot of women, for whatever reason, they choose to leave. Their emotions are taking over, not common sense and logic. They'll sacrifice getting their credit screwed up just to get out, for whatever reason it is. Meanwhile, as guys, we care about things like that. We don't want to screw up our credit, because that's a big deal, right? And let alone screw up our money situation. So that can screw you over. And this guy, fortunately, he's able to take care of himself, but he took a hit because he counted on her to pay for her part of the rent. But she could care less. When she didn't come back for her clothes and other things after a week had passed, I donated the items to Goodwill. Good for him. I was pretty bummed, of course, and for a few weeks after our breakup, I was very depressed. My employer was really cool and put me on paid 2 weeks leave when she saw I was sad at work. She also paid for me to see a therapist on weekends. Eventually I got over it and returned to work better than ever. That's a great boss. You got to really thank her and definitely show your loyalty by staying there working, being a good employee, helping her out and everything. That's awesome. That's rare in this day and age, so that's really cool. He goes on saying, I was curious to know about what my ex-girlfriend was up to, but I knew it was better than to try and find out. Very smart. Nor could I follow her on social media because she blocked me everywhere. Well, that's crazy. She ends it with him and all that, and obviously this guy didn't freak out or anything, and she blocks him on social media. That's a little psycho. Fast forward 7 months, and I've been doing a lot better. I've been on several dates, and he says, it isn't hard to meet a lot of women in my profession, but nothing serious has come from them. This was mostly my decision. I even reached boyfriend status with a woman I met at a concert, but broke it off with her after a couple months. I'm still friends with her though, and we're cool when we run into each other, which is often. I realize that in a lot of ways, I still kind of miss my life from when I was with my ex. That's normal. Guys, you could be with somebody for a couple of years and think you're all in love and think you may get married one day and even living together, and she up and leaves you on the worst terms. it's going to hurt for a while, okay? I've been there, all right? Trust me, and a lot of you guys watching this have been there. I don't want you guys to be there again, so that's why I want you guys to keep learning and learning and learning so you don't get in those situations, but a lot of us have been there, okay? And so it's totally normal to feel that after even 7 months. Seriously, it takes a while to get past that shit, but you always do. So if you're in a situation like this right now, guys, believe me, you will move on. But you got to get off your ass and take action to move on, okay? A little bit of info there. This is where it starts to get good, guys. Well, out of nowhere, my ex starts messaging me on Facebook. He says, so I guess she unblocked me now. About how she misses me and wants to hear my voice. About how she made a mistake and was just confused. Confused? What confusion was there when she was hooking up with a C-list celebrity behind his back? What confusion was it when she just completely up and left him, leaving all her stuff behind, not to mention the poor dog, because I'm sure the dog loved her, because dogs are loyal, and made him be responsible for all the rent that he was used to? What confusion was there? No, she's just being a selfish asshole. She went on to mention a lot of our shared memories together. In truth, I really do miss her, but I'm wondering why she's even trying to communicate with me again. When we were together, I liked the fact that she was in a lot of ways strong and independent person, even if she didn't exactly pay for half of our mutual expenses when we lived together. She's trying to reach out to this guy because obviously things didn't work out with the C-list celebrity. The C-list celebrity that she left him for obviously then got bored with her and is probably onto some other woman. End of story. And now she's looking for someone that she can basically, probably money's tight and stuff like that. So she's probably looking for this guy that she can latch on to, assuming that, hey, he's still the same old guy, so he'll take me back. And even after I treat him like this, she can move back in and take advantage of it again. But fortunately, this guy doesn't do that. He's still wondering, should he take her back and what's going on, but he doesn't do that. But in her mind, he just might. And how many of you guys have been in a situation like this, right? Goes on, uncharacteristically for her, she began to beg me and plead me to see her. She said she was on her knees asking for another chance. Well, I know something she can do on her knees for this guy. That she messed up again, and she was so sorry, and she was a fool, and that she would behave from now on. This all happened last night, and I haven't replied to her yet. She sent me a couple of messages today continuing the same theme. She's so sorry, she's begging me on her hands and knees, and all that. She also says that she understands if we can't be a couple, but that she needs me as a friend in her life because she's so sorry she threw me away. She also says that I should at least let her back into my life so she can see our dog. Bullshit. That's his dog. That is man's best friend. She lost all rights to that dog when she up and left and didn't give a crap about that dog, didn't help pay for the dog's food and care and things like that, vet bills and all that, which come with having a pet. That's his dog. But notice that she's using that tactic about the dog to try to get this guy back in his graces, get back and see him. And hopefully that she can then sweet talk him and probably seduce him and then have her way again. And all this shit would happen again in 9 more months. And the guy says, well, he's sort of just my dog now, but I don't know. No, dude, that's your dog. It just seems so out of character for her to be vulnerable and begging me. Could this mean that she is really sorry? Should I maybe give her another chance? No. Do not give her another chance, okay? Maybe in that moment she's feeling bad only because that probably the dude she was with kicked her ass to the curb, okay? He got rid of her and she has no other options and she needs someone to help pay the bills and take care of her and, of course, give her attention and validation so she won't be alone. So she's feeling lonely and desperate and she's going back to this guy. Is she sorry? I would say maybe on some level she may feel sorry in a moment, but the truth is, she's doing what's best for her. So screw her, okay? And, guys, in a situation like this, it is common that, woman cheats, moves out, leaves, and pulls this type of crap. And a lot of guys will fall for this and think that maybe she's so sorry she'll never do it again. Wrong. Guys, as the saying goes, once a cheater, always a cheater. You don't take back a cheater, okay? That doesn't mean that you have to be horribly nasty and unleash hell upon them, so to speak, in terms of revenge. I mean, if you want to, you want to, but that's your life. But just basically, if I was this guy can do one of three things here. Okay. Number one, he can basically say to her, look, after everything you've done to me, there's no way in hell I'm getting back together. I wish you well, but that's it. Don't ever contact me again. And done. That's it. The higher road, so to speak. Two, he could take not such the high road and basically tell her to go fuck herself and every nasty thing known to man and don't contact him again, and that's it. Or number three, if he really wants to be a sleazeball here, he can invite her back and allow her to show him how sorry she is on her knees and other things like that. And every crazy, freaky thing he's ever wanted to do, probably that is the ultimate time that he can get what he wants. And then kick her ass to the curb. But with option three, there's a possibility that she could get pissed and see that he was doing that on purpose and then make all sorts of accusations and charges. So that's not worth it. If it was me, given the fact that I'm 42 years old and I like to consider myself mature, I would go through option one. Hey, you did all these things, not cool, I've moved on, get out, don't contact me again, done and over with, period. But that's up to him, guys. Now, before I finish this, guys, also, he provides an update to what's been going on with her a little bit later. And he says, update. Now that I've continued to ignore the messages, they're changing in tune. This afternoon, they turned a little bitter. Ooh, big surprise. This is where the manipulation tactics come in. Not that manipulation wasn't going on before, like all the bullshit with, how she's on her hands and knees, and I really want to see my dog. This is when the real tactics start to change to try to get him to cave and talk to her. And here are some quotations from the messages that she was leaving him. It says, this is from her, of course, "Fine. I can see you're not mature enough to have a conversation. It says a lot about you that you're ignoring me when I'm basically throwing my heart at you." See how she's twisting this around to now make him to be the villain here? This guy doesn't want anything to do with her. Obviously, he's not responding to her messages. And so she's insulting him and calling him immature and insulting him because he doesn't want to talk to her. She's making him out to be the bad guy, that he's immature and all that stuff. Give me a break. She cheated on him, had the affair, left him high and dry with half the rent, left the dog, left all her stuff behind that she wanted him to send to her. See what I mean? That's the kind of crap. How many guys have been in a situation like that where you've been in the right and she's in the wrong and tries to twist things around to make you to be the bad guy? It's insane. But guys fall for this crap. So I'm giving examples here, guys, so you don't fall for this crap if you're ever in this situation. And then he says, and then tonight, she reverted back to being nice. And another quote from her, "Look, I didn't mean that I'm just so hurt right now. Can we talk? You're the only one who understands me. Can I come over? I need to be near you." Wow. Her texts are kind of fascinating. I'm sort of waiting for her to call me a bastard, asshole, etc. I'm glad she doesn't have a key anymore. If I hadn't gotten a raise at work a few months ago, her ditching me in this apartment would be a lot more painful financially. It makes me so angry the way she acts like she didn't financially cripple me for a while. I want to tell her off, but I don't know what good that would do. Well, the guy's every right to tell her off. And by the way, how you just said, I'm glad I got a raise at work, because otherwise I would be in a difficult situation financially. Guys, this is exactly the reason why I tell you guys, I want you guys always doing things to improve yourself in your lives, okay? Particularly with taking action to make more money, get a better job, get a better position at your work, or start a new business on the side, or and learning about investing your money so you can grow the money that you have, making money while you sleep, all these things. Because when you're in a better financial position, you don't have to rely on anybody. So that way, I bet if this guy he didn't get a raise and he wasn't doing okay financially, he may have considered taking her back to help him pay the bills. He would have maybe thought differently. And look what would have happened. But because he got a raise, because he's obviously doing a good job, he has the money, he's secure, he doesn't have to rely upon her or anyone. So that's really good for him. So I want you guys to remember that. Always constantly be doing things to make more money, make yourselves more valuable. And that way then, if ever a situation arises, you don't have to rely on anybody. You can take care of yourselves. It's so important, guys. It's not about greed or anything like that. It's just being able to have a comfortable life on your terms. So, all right, guys, thought you'd enjoy that. That's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know about your experiences about being dumped and then moving on with your life. And then she comes back begging you, and how there were times when you thought maybe What's going on here? Should I give her another chance? We all got to learn here. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.